Hi, welcome to Derek Does. Today, we're doing these. Oh, hey, careful man, there's a beverage here. Well, if you don't know, you will soon. We're doing the Big Lebowski Sweater. This is Pendleton's Westerly Sweater. And I'm going to show you two of my originals that I've had for a long time. I've always been a fan of the film, and they're really difficult to find originals. And this is a reproduction that I got for my son because I could not find an original in his size. And this was like a Christmas gift a couple years ago. He loves the film too. So let me show you the sweaters. You've probably seen these around, and maybe you didn't know. If you've never seen the Big Lebowski, you wouldn't know the sweater. The sweater was made from Pendleton. I think they began it in 1972, and they made it up to about 10 years, probably like the early 80s, and then they stopped making it. I guess that whole 70s vibe thing of this look was kind of over with in the 80s, and it's more of a yuppie thing, and nobody really wanted that 70s hippie vibe, which these kind of give off a little bit, and that's kind of why the dude would wear his. I have two. This is my first one. This is a blue one. They came in, I think, 3 or 4 colors. There was a blue one, which is this one. There was a red one, which was like a darker red. They all have the same pattern. And then, of course, the one that was used in the film is this one, which is that dark brown, chocolatey brown color. So they look great on. They're really nice. It's just, you can wear it as a coat if you have like a longer sleeve shirt on. If you have a short sleeve shirt, you will feel the wind come through it because it is kind of a looser weave. I mean, it's thick, but it's still loose. I'm going to show you each of the sweaters, and then you can kind of get an idea what to look for and how you can tell actually an original from a reproduction, because I think in probably 10 years ago maybe, Pendleton started making pretty close reproductions to the original sweater. It's a little different, I think, just a smidgen, but there's not a lot of difference between them, and I'll show you. This is the dude sweater, obviously, that I'm wearing. This sweater is, again, all original. I think this is a large. I think my blue one was an extra large. They run kind of big when you get one, unless, and this is something else, if you're gonna buy on eBay, be careful, because don't go by the size tag, go by the actual measurements, because again, this sweater it could be 50 years old, and I'm sure within its lifetime it's been washed, probably from someone and then threw it in the dryer afterwards, and they shrunk up. So be careful on the sizing, because what you think is your size may not be, which might be good, because you could look for an extra large, and if you're like a medium, it'll probably fit you great, or even a large. But if you're an extra large, be careful, because I think that's the biggest size they made, and so you need to find one that's going to fit you. This one's got a few flaws, and just from wear over the, obviously this is a well-loved sweater. It's very comfortable, it's warm, it's wool, 100% wool. This one actually had the zipper pull replaced. Something happened to the zipper pull, but the blue one has the original zipper, and then of course the reproduction has a reproduction of the original zipper. So I'll show you that too. But let's get into the actual sweaters themselves, and I'll show you, I'll put them up on the hanger, and then you can kind of take a look, and I can show you kind of the details of each one. So again, this is my original dude sweater in the brown, the Big Lebowski Westerly sweater from Pendleton. That's what it looks like, the pattern. It's pretty recognizable, especially if you've seen the film, you would know instantly. That's the original tag. It's actually a medium. I thought it was a large. It's a medium. And you can see it doesn't actually say Westerly anywhere on it. I think that was just their marketing term. It was never on the tag. But it is a 100% virgin wool. I think they made these in Minnesota maybe. But as you can see, the original zipper pull has been replaced. The original zippers here, because you can see that's the original talon down there, something had happened and they had replaced it. It has a shawl collar, and underneath the shawl collar there should be, there's a little button here, and I don't know, it must have been a flap maybe that's missing. It probably was a little flap originally. We'll check on the blue one and see if it's there, but there was a little button there so you could, I don't know why you would, but maybe you would. There's no hand pockets on it because again, it's a cardigan. It's not, well, I guess cardigans have hand pockets. It's a kind of an outdoor jacket sweater combo thing. I'm not sure what you would actually call this type of sweater. I mean, it is a cardigan because it's a sweater and it zips up front, but I'm sure it has something because it doesn't have a little pocket, and usually cardigans would have like a little, not a big pocket, but a little pocket. I'll show you the back. It's a real manly sweater, even though it has a design and everything on it. It's very, the pattern is very manly. I believe in the film, Jeff Bridges actually, most of the clothing was his, and the sweater was his also. It was just from his closet, because that was his, he is kind of the dude, I think, in real life, just not quite that exaggerated. And he had this sweater, and the Coen brothers liked it, and it kind of fit the bill. So he actually probably bought this sweater or got it back in the 70s, and then when they made the movie in the 90s, he just pulled it out of the closet. And here it is in blue. This was my first one I was able to find on eBay. If you look around, you will find them, because a lot of people just say Pendleton sweater. A lot of people don't know what this sweater is. The people that do know the sweater will say Big Lebowski Sweater. Don't buy from them because it's going to be $300-$400 for an original. What you need to do is look for Pendleton cardigan, and it could be 70s or whatever you want to put in there for a search, and you may find one. These are kind of how I found these, because the person didn't say they were Big Lebowski. And obviously the blue one is not the Big Lebowski. It's just the brown one that really commands the bigger money. But the blue one, I really like the blue one. And I'll show you the differences between this actually and the one you just saw. First off, besides the color, the tag's a little different. I don't know if they changed the tags throughout the years or if they had multiple mills that were making these, and each mill had their own color tag, but the other, if you remember, the other color tag was a little different. Still the same thing. High-grade Western wear. Again, this is the Westerly. This has the original zipper. So this is what it should look like, and it's a Talon double mark there. It might be marked on the other side too. Let's look. Is it marked? Yeah, triple marked Talon, front, back, and then it has this little ring pull, which is really nice, especially if it's cold, because you figure you're wearing this when it's cold out. You don't want a little zipper to go up and down. So I've been trying to find this original one, but I can't find it. But if you can see, it's got the same, the other one has the exact same actual zippers. This one was big enough that I had to roll up the sleeves a little bit. This was a large, and this is huge. It really is. It's more like an extra, extra large. It's a pretty big sweater. I'll put this one on too. You can kind of see what it looks like on also. But it's the same pattern that the other one has. It has that same button here. And this one also is missing the little pull. I assume it's a little pull tab maybe there, or a little loop, something like that. That just probably just came off or came unthreaded over the years. So I don't know, maybe this one's earlier than the other one because the tag's different, or maybe it's a little later. Maybe somebody out there knows more on Pendleton stuff. I don't know their whole history. I know they make great stuff, or at least they did back in the day, but I don't know today. But it's a really nice sweater. This is it in blue. And again, this was my first one, and then I always was out looking for the next one, the brown. And here's the reproduction that I picked up a couple years ago from Pendleton. And this is their reproduction of the dude sweater. I got this for my son, and you'll see there are some differences between, obviously, the original and this one. Overall, though, it looks very, very similar. It has the same pull ring tab, but obviously this one's different. This was a YYK, or YKK, and it's a little different overall. It actually goes up and down a little. It feels a little different, probably because it's newer. The tag, unfortunately, does say made in China because that's where I guess Pendleton does their stuff now. But this is a medium also. But it's still woven. It has that same button. I was looking here, and if you look, there's a little, right there's your little button thing. I'm going to look at mine to see if it's hidden in there. So it's like a little tab. I don't know why you'd ever use it, but it's there though. He loves the sweater. And it looks great on too. And here's the back. Still has the shock collar and the front zipper. It's very, very similar. I'll put the two together side by side and we'll take a look and see if there's any differences, major differences. All right, we're side by side now with the original and the reproduction. You can see the pattern's pretty much spot on. Although the arm's a little different. Well, I guess not. It's just probably how the angle is there. So the pattern's pretty close. Obviously this one, if you look, the one's a lot lighter, and I think that's probably just because it hasn't seen near as much sun fading as the original, which is this one, and this is the reproduction. And here's the original tag, and then of course the reproduction. It's a little different. And again, this one had that, we discovered it had that little flap there. This one does have that little flap. It's right there. That's for your button, if you wanted to button it. But that's the original and the reproduction. They did a really good job, actually. Let's look on the back. Again, the backs are pretty much identical, at least with the pattern. Obviously, the color, again, is way darker on the original and actually that brown, this is a lot thinner than it is on the original. The weave itself feels, and it could just be from wear. I mean, they're really close on the pattern. This one just feels just a smidgen thicker. Just a little thicker than the reproduction. Well, it's just like my opinion, man, but I really like these sweaters. Here you can see what the blue one looks like on. It's just a nice, you know, it's a solid sweater. You know you're wearing it, but it's not super heavy. It's like a nice wool jacket, but doesn't have that heaviness of a wool jacket because of the way it's woven, because it's knitted. So it has a lot of movement into it. So it's not thick like a felt wool jacket. I like them. So if you're out looking for them, look for these. They also come in a red, and I'll do a picture of that too, so you can see that. And whatever other color, there might be one more color that I'm just not remembering. But anyway, this is the Pendleton Westerly Sweater from 1972 to the mid 80s, probably early 80s. I think they probably started probably in 82 in that range. If you like this sort of content, please subscribe, because I'm almost at 500 subscribers, and it's kind of exciting. I've never done this sort of thing before, and it's slowly building up, so it's kind of cool. I just want to thank you for subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, because I'm always going to I've got a bunch of cool stuff, and I thought, why not show you guys some cool stuff and at least give you some knowledge of what to look for and what not to look for too sometimes, and maybe to see something that maybe you didn't realize you needed. Like maybe you didn't know you needed a sweater, but if you made it this far watching, you need the sweater. I've got 3 of them, 2 mine, one's my son, but I'm pretty happy with the 2 I have, and it's kind of enough what I need. But if you don't have one, you should get one. Okay, I'll see you on the next one.